man.
It's nuts.
It's not just the stacks, it's also the Nexus at 27. Turrets siege down, no hope here as Bout pick up a decisive game 1 against Division.
And boom. Wow, okay, so we just saw Bout completely take over from lane phase alone, right? The top lane matchup was a bit Division-sided, but apart from that, it felt like Division didn't really know how they wanted to play it, whether they knew the Orianna never had pressure, and whether to play around that, but it felt rough. It felt rough to watch this Tristana Ashe just getting bullied by a jungler.
Do not look at the damage graphs. Try not to smile.
Those multi-target shock blasts doing so much work.
You know it's a difficult game when Nautilus is out damaging both your Ashe support and your jungler.
Oh no. Oh,
That's
okay. That's the Mariana Trench of gold graphs right there. As it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. It was a Drake sweep, and it just came from winning the bot lane and managing to get that early Cloud Drake, that early Hextech drag that really surmounted their lead more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously saw some good stuff from up in the top lane, right? Sion holding their own versus Jace, maybe that's how the matchup's supposed to go, but able to find those solo kills as well. There's not like there's no hope, but it's kind of difficult. We're going to have to see how they choose to adapt going into the second game. Maybe something more aggressive on the bot lane, the tank support, rather than this Ashe seems to get caught out a lot. But we're going to be throwing it to a quick break. 6 minutes. We'll see you here for game 2. Catch you on the other side. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. After that unfortunate loss for Division in that first game, luckily it's a BO2, so there's a chance for you to bounce back. But unfortunately, Division are now going to be on the red side.
Yes, they are. And with that, I think personally brings a bit of draft difficulties because you can't get the early pick, but it also means Bout won't be able to do what they did last game, which is final pick ASOL.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
If they want to go for the ASOL, they have to let at least one pick go after him, which could just turn the tide and give him a more difficult time.
Yeah, it's certainly good. It's certainly good. I just want to say thank you very much to our sponsors today for the stream. We didn't shout them out before because of, I mean, obviously you should already know about ViewSonic and URH already. Both these guys doing great work for us, Division, bringing you this stream. I don't know where their money's going because it's not to me, but it's going to the team, baby. It's going to making good content. But
wait,
yeah,
it's going to me.
It's going to you?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Ooh, someone hasn't been told.
I haven't been told. Anyway, wait, have I? No,
So,
I don't know. Anyway,
let's talk game 2.
We're going into game 2 either way. That's where it's going.
Yeah. So draft wise, are we loving the Tristana Ashe? I think it had potential. I just think Nautilus shut down that potential immediately.
Yes. It could be very likely, right?
Yeah.
It does. I think Ashe is a strong champion, but you need to, in some ways, draft around it, right? Like, you can't just be picking Ashe bot lane support and then not doing anything with the Ashe Trist. You did mention it earlier, there's a little bit of stylistic difference there, right?
Yeah.
Not able to be as oppressive as something like the Ashe Varus or like the Ashe Caitlyn.
Or if you're going for such an aggressive lane, why are you running lethal tempo on the Tristana? Right? Why not the Halo Blades on her? And just get double Halo Blades bot lane to get that immediate trade power and get the push in.
I understand. I do understand. Maybe you're looking less for that level 2 all-in, which is...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting thing, especially when you have to take cleanse right into a matchup like that. Never feels good. But still, we're going to get that out of our minds. We're going to be going into game 2.
Mental reset.
What sort of draft shakeups would you like to see coming out from Division here to be able to secure the win on red side?
So if Bout are showing they're going towards this poke comp that was so successful to them last game, I want to see all in engage, right? Because that's how you counter a poke comp. If you really want to do them justice, draft Blitzcrank, and it's really funny into a poke comp, but you can also think of things like the Karma. And I know it's a bit deep and she hasn't been meta, but even a Sona works really well into a pick comp. Even a Seraphine, right?
Yeah.
Get these enchanters that enable you to stick onto a dragon. I almost said onto a site like Valorant, onto a dragon or a Baron pit, and just mitigate these Jace shockwaves.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a little too deep into people's pools, but I think a Senna Seraphine bot lane would fare so... Maybe not against the Nautilus so much. Maybe that's going to make that life.
Senna was buffed.
Senna was buffed. I think she's actually really good, by the way. This is my Zoe hot tip secret tech. Senna, I think, is really strong on this patch. She gets like she does like 30% more attacks or something. But maybe we won't see it come out in draft today. We'll see what gets banned up. I'd like to see it, but maybe we won't.
I just want to say quickly, Senna is a really strong champion. Senna players just aren't good at piloting her. And I see this all the time, and that's why I never like a Senna being drafted on my team. As we're seeing a Fiora banned out. Okay, Bout, that's quite interesting. Maybe looking towards a tank top lane, that's what it immediately indicates.
I mean, they banned it last time as well. Could just be comfort. Whenever I do some coaching for a Division 3 NLC team, whenever we see a Fiora or OTP on the enemy team, we're like, we don't want to deal with that. Like, you could just blind pick. Like, this champion is so disgusting if you can pilot it well. So better to just take it off the board. At least, very similar story. Very strong in the current patch. Just take it away.
That does bring it up. They banned Fiora and then drafted Jace. When Jace is a decent matchup into Fiora. That's for a different day. As we're seeing now the Elite banned out, will we see the Jarvan 2 to round out the near identical bans?
Actually, he's a Jarvan 4. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
Actually, he's LeBlanc if you want to go really deep into the lore.
That's an old meme. That's a boomer meme, okay? That's good. I like that. But instead, it's going to be the Vi taking off the board instead. Didn't
And
have that much. I don't think it really did what Division really needed it to do last game, but
No.
came close a couple of times. Obviously, you saw even if nobody could follow up, Vi could make that engage. So taking off that point and click ultimate makes a lot of sense. And Varus this time.
I like
defining
that
for
respect
Division.
ban more than anything.
No Jax.
When bout gamers are able to first pick it, and Varus is just straight up one of the strongest AD carries in the current meta, especially if the comp's revolving around him, then I don't mind banning it, as we're seeing the Jarvan fall first.
So if I'm Division here, I'm thinking, if I'm the Division AD carry, if I'm Kulabai, I'm like, give me something mobile, please. I cannot play I cannot play Caitlyn, I cannot play Ashe into this. I will be miserable. It's a bit like how when you see a Sejuani, the ADC will instantly call for the Xayah, but instead they're gonna lock up this early jungle matchup, right? Wukong had some success last game, actually a lot of success here on Bout, but there it is.
Xayah.
The Xayah gets dive, doesn't want to deal with that baloney. Featherstorm obviously very good, counter engage, but stylistically weak into the poke composition that Bout game was drafted last game.
So the Varus is okay that it's banned now because Varus is really good into Xayah because he has so much range on her. I'd honestly not be surprised. And yeah, I was going to say an Aphelios or an Ashe as the AD carry just to outrange the Xayah and make her life really hard in lane.
Yeah, this is the issue with blind picking Xayah. Obviously a very strong champion in the meta, but I think a lot more conditional than people give it credit for, especially in these organized settings. You pick Xayah, you pick Aphelios Karma, Aphelios Lulu.
Yeah.
Xayah is going to be so miserable. Lulu's even pretty good into the Rakan, right? She can polymorph him when he goes in with that quickness. The Jace still left open, gonna get locked in, and now Xayah is probably regretting picking that champion.
Yeah, this is so much more range than Hypno has. It's gonna be so hard for them to teamfight here, and really scary for Xayah. Even paired with a Rakan, can you keep her safe enough?
No.
Yep,
I can tell you
was an
that
easy
for a
one.
fact. Ornn here is the pickup in the top lane.
Okay,
Ornn
solo kills Jace. Ornn solo
but...
kills Jace in most lanes, so it's actually a really good pickup here.
Yeah.
They needed a tank, they needed a bit more engage, so I love it.
I like the Gwen ban as well. I feel banning the Gwen from Division was a little bit... They shot themselves in the foot a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they could have just played Gwen. They picked Sion, you're like, well, I wish I had Gwen, I wish I had Fiora, but still, banning it away from Division here makes a lot of sense. Could be denying that easy matchup into Ornn, but I'm gonna let you some dark Zoe technology here. I'm sorry, I'm all dark technically, but I think Aurelion Soul top has a very good matchup into Ornn. It's a champion you can free scale against. It's a similar idea to Gwen.
Ooh.
You can dodge away from his ult when he puts it out.
Very true, but the moment you start
I don't know if
channeling Breath of Light into the wave, doesn't Ornn just QE you and you're gone?
Yeah, just walk away.
And you
just
take
don't get hit
300
for
damage burn. Yep, sure, just be better.
But
is the
anyway,
advice here.
I don't think it's likely to get picked up. I think it's more likely to be something like a ranged top player that can bully. Maybe you can even put Jace up. I know Dawn gets solo Jace, but that's not how it should be. The Annie pickup here though for Division.
Annie
I like this.
could be support or mid lane, so it's a really nice flex to pick on 4 here. Did receive a few nerfs, but I don't really think they matter outside Tibbers getting an extra 10 seconds on its cooldown.
You say Annie could be mid or support. If I'm playing Annie mid into Jace, I am crying. You're just gonna get outraged.
Well, that's what they're
the
flexing
entire time. Yeah, I know that's why it's sort of a fake flex because it is most likely heading down to support.
Yeah.
Assuming Jace heads to that mid lane, which you
Or
really
the
should when
Thresh.
you have counter pick. And Thresh pick here, we talked a bit about that in the last game.
Yeah.
Thresh Aphelios classic combo. Kill pressure onto Annie as well in this support role. Q cooldown reduction is massive. I really like this actually.
Oh! Okay! The Kayle pickup. So Kayle did get a few buffs on 13.3, making her late game stronger. And yeah, okay. So Kayle going into the Ornn struggles a bit pre-6, but post that, once you get that range, then you're basically chilling. Ornn doesn't have much threat to you, and it's just a farm fest, which is what Kayle wants. So Jace into the Annie. Yeah, as you pointed out,
I think
it's
maybe
not an support.
I'm not the most mid lane. I'm not like I play a lot of support. I play a bit of jungle.
Right.
But I feel like Jace just outranges Annie, and because the reason why Annie's so aggressive is you can just walk up and push Q in the trade and it's totally fine. With Shock Blast, Jace can farm pretty safely. Now of course you can't look for those all-ins Jace really likes, but against the enemy team comp, Jace doesn't even need to get ahead that early, right? You talk about are going to be chunking out, Wukong going to be chunking out Nautilus. If a single one lands onto Xayah, it's going to make our life absolutely miserable. I think once again, I have to favor bout gaming in this draft.
I favor Division actually.
Oh.
Because you've got your Jarvan going in, but that's your only front line. Right, I don't really count Thresh as a front line because sometimes he's to the side with Lantern and protecting his AD carry. And look at this. The Nautilus, the Annie, the Ornn, all great backline big crowd control to lock down this Kayle, this Jace, this Aphelios. And I don't think Bout can survive this much crowd control. In team fights, I think they just get blasted.
Ooh, well, I mean, I can see it. I definitely agree, right? I mean, also there is the fact Nautilus is like a traditional counter into Thresh, right?
Yeah.
Without the Q all the way. But I can see your point. I mean, obviously, ease of execution would be all followed up by Tibbers.
And Wukong roll. So Cyclone is ruining any attempted engage by Jarvan. Wukong can just slow it down.
Yeah. I guess my issue is with Division's draft is I'm a little bit biased against wombo combo drafts. When I first went into drafting, I got told, "Oh, just draft wombo combo. It's so easy." I think it's really difficult to play well, actually. Right? It's like it's good to have a little bit of a combo, add a little bit of a spice of a Diana Yasuo, add a little bit of chili powder of Renekton plus a diving top laner, right? But if you index too heavily into trying to combo stuff together, right? If one thing goes wrong, right? If the Ornn goes wide, it's really hard to follow up.
You open up with depth charge. And that's fine. Then you've just got the guaranteed engage that you need. Yes, Kayle has Divine Judgment, but unless she's casting that on herself, she's not autoing for 2 seconds, which is so much of your team's DPS gone.
Very true. It's going to be very interesting, honestly, to see how this one plays out. Like, I do think, now that you mentioned there are other tools there for Division, I just think Bout has a lot going for them as well. Definitely. I favor outrange.
If they can stay in their safety zone, which is above 600 units, they are gonna take over a team fight.
Yes.
And I mean, Jace can land shockwaves, he's really good. But if he can't, it's
that's just how Jace is, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Unless he goes in hammer form and just like flash Qs.
In this team comp dies. But I definitely see your point. It's gonna be a proof in the pudding, though. I think. I mean, I'm very confident in WCD's ability to pilot the champions, right? Didn't see them on the Jace last game, but obviously something they're comfortable with. Slow line as well, hell of a ticking time bomb against a shorter range composition from Division, right? It's not like you're going to be able to outpoke this Kayle, right? You're not going to be able to hit it with a couple of Victor lasers just to back out the fight.
Okay, so you say that. If Yuka is running Comet, you can outpoke Kayle. So this is tech from Macro, who's a Challenger Ornn player, into Kayle. You max Q and go Comet. Because each one of your Qs, when they hit, will guarantee 280 damage. And Kayle, it's just unplayable for Kayle. So, actually going Spellbook. But that is tech for all you Ornn players who have to play into a Kayle. Q max, Comet, you just win lane.
We really have been in the deepest depths of tech on this game, but we're going to be heading on to Rift very, very shortly, assuming, of course, there is no immediate pause as one of the players disconnects. We've got a little bit more time, but I guess I meant more about in the team fights, right? Like it's going to be kind of difficult to access this Kayle outside of an Ornn, right? When you're going forward, sliding forward to Hasta on this depth charge, you need to be very coordinated, I think, on the side of Division. But they obviously do have their angles in. I think it's going to be an interesting one to see play out.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice to watch. And the only question mark I have is really, can this Xayah make it out of lane phase with a decent amount of gold? Hopefully the Thresh and the Aphelios don't shut her down, and this Jarvan doesn't immediately level 2 gank her into level 4 gank into just camping the bush, right?
That's the most... That's how every Jarvan plays.
It's either that bot or mid, right? Do you remember the old Jarvan tech days of just finishing red buff and immediately ganking mid like you're a Shaco?
That's my...
And just blowing flash.
You do that on Jarvan, You can do that on Shaco. You do it on my favorite one to do it on. This is a bit of an anecdote, but just doing that on Xin Zhao and just blowing mid lane with flash.
When
you go WE
yeah.
and you just run at them and they die. It's great, but I'd like to see that this game.
Or even the days of Ezreal Jungle where you could do that when you take Arcane Shift second.
Wow.
And just do that straight into mid lane and solo kill. That was a good 3 patches when that existed.
But I would like to see, most importantly, as you said, Zerberus even influencing the spot side of the map, right?
Yeah.
You've got 2 prime targets for games. Annie doesn't have any mobility in her kit. She's short range. She has the one side to the wave, Jarvan's hiding in the bush, EQ flash, kaput. You head bot lane, once again Xayah, and then she's got those feathers set off already, doesn't have the same disengage tools, and you can combo it into that thresh hook. I really want to see, yeah, as I said, Cerberus gets action on this map. 1 more second, apparently, until we get in, but I don't know if this is a real second or a deep pause second, which can, I've known a second to extend up to 6 hours on some of this rift.
Oh wow, that's... Oh, was there a Zillion in the game manipulating things? Or...
Oh, I mean, I can't say, but yeah, should be heading in very shortly. Just, I know you guys. Oh no, you can't see the runes. You can see some of the spells.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, in terms of runes, Annie has opted for first strike. I think that's not what you want to be going, just because you're against Jace, right? It's you're in the same reason why you wouldn't go like Banshees against Jace. It's just gonna get, or like Crown versus Jace. It's just gonna get really poked off, right? Interesting to see. I know I'm grasping for straws.
What would you have preferred? Would you have preferred like Predator, which was a thing on Annie a few years back, and just always influencing the bot roam and making this bot lane sweat? Or
I'm a bit of Comet enjoyer. I listen to LS a lot.
Oh, Comet, okay.
It's so free. You just walk up, you Q them, and you deal like in the same way as Ornn, right? You can't dodge the Q. Yeah. It's just very miserable. But now we're heading onto the Rift. We'll have to see how this Annie does with first strike. This is just a pause reverberation, by the way, guys. Don't worry, game's not bugged. You don't have to fix your monitors. It's just going to take an extra second for the game to catch up. It likes to do this.
So, an important thing to remember is that Annie gets stun at level 1, which means you can go for these really aggressive engages where you guarantee it with the disintegrate, and then you land the Nautilus ground control.
They're looking for a bot side invade here. I like this from Division. You've got so much potential level 1. I'm assuming Annie hasn't leveled shield, as I sometimes see Annie's do, and it makes me cry, but they are going to get spotted on the ward.
What Annie's level shield? That's
LCK supports do it, and it really tilts me. I mean, obviously it's mid Annie. She will have leveled disintegrate, but not able to find anything with it quite yet. Heading back. Chill resets. Good old time. Level 1 doesn't result in anything. Ooh. Actually, Hook comes through. Hersey not able to time theirs correctly, and that's a kill already onto the AD carry. Disaster!
Oh dear.
In the bot lane.
Before minions have even crashed, WCD just there herding Hersey towards the Thresh, towards Felix, and yeah, this Aphelios just outranges Zai already. And now, with that bonus gold, with that extra longsword worth of AD, always will have the push.
Yeah, most certainly will. Snowline, look for an early trade onto Yuka. Level 1 KO, actually a pretty decent champion. Just whacking Yuka. Lethal tempo here, making it so much worse. And the trades are disgusting.
Now,
wait, no, Yuka, you can't be walking like that. Oh my gosh, I was so scared he was going to die.
Yeah, and what's even more important there is Snowline just, like, made Yuka miss all that first XP from the frontline minions, right? So, Yuka even started W, so can't farm that far from range. It's just going to take these Spellfire Blades
Ruby Crystals at a door and shield as well. Hell matchup there, it's got to be said.
That's quite greedy. Isn't it? I feel like
the idea is you can on Ornn, right? Obviously, because you can build.
Because you can build.
Not respecting KO's level 1 power. Ugh.
And just a really nice read by Snowlion there, understanding that they do win that level 1 all-in no matter what. As Takimo going for the roam.
Hook goes wide. Flay still available. Stun there. Bit of ping pong with Annie. Just gonna push back, push forwards with that hammer blow, but. still getting that poke down, obviously finding that reset early in the bot lane. Wave will crash, but I think they'll lose a single melee because it's a cannon wave.
And because of that early kill, Felix was able to get the push in, get that first back, pick up the coal, and that's what enabled Takimo there to roam towards the mid lane. As Snowline getting a really good wave stacked, going to be quite difficult at those minion HPs for Yuka to get all of this. Going to have to use Bellows Breath on the minions just to take them down low enough.
Yeah, there's a pretty big CS gap in the top lane, right? Obviously, it's not that disastrous. Didn't get the solo kill. Did have to
But River, Takimo caught out.
Oh, Hook comes through, but Takimo in the Lion's Den. But look, Division just unable to find the engage. The Lantern comes forth. WCD knocks them back over the wall. And despite numbers being there early on for Division, they're unwilling to look for the engage.
Yeah, WCD there, having that early push into Spada just means... Oh, that was such a rude interrupt. But having the early push into Spada meant could come to the river. The lanterning in of the Jace, forcing the Zaya to flash. We thought she was behind. She's now even more behind.
Yeah, I'm very scared about what Felix can pull off with this root gun thrashing area. So, but the trade comes through WCD, looking for some kill pressure. Not going to knock it back. And with Kulabar hanging around the bot lane, you can't really look for anything here. But still
Cerberus?
massive lead. Meanwhile, gank on the top lane. Yuka just going to waltz their way out.
Yeah, just making Yuka sweat a little. I don't think the Ornn ever dies there with the Unstoppable from Bellows Breath. But yeah, just a little bit of happy slap from the Jarvan passive. Taking a bit more damage as a huge crashing wave here. But the Ornn is building. So, Snowline is getting their base off now. They have so much gold in their pocket. 33 CS already. Means they can make such a good investment. Already got the Blasting Wand and pots.
Yeah, it's going to be an AP KO, this game. Makes a lot of sense considering the rest of the team is AD. Right?
I don't believe in AD KO.
Please build Mage Eyes, Takimo, if you're watching the stream. But yeah, AP KO is the best way to play it right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's going to be really hard to deal with.
So, we see Hate here, basing and then looking for this mid gank. As Quillabi is just finishing their Raptors. But, I don't know. Takimo's hovering, and so is Cerberus. This is so hard. No,
Maybe
just helping
trying
push
to
in
get
the wave here.
Yeah. Get Spada this reset. I guess that's
Spada
fair
just
enough.
reset and TP down, so I guess they're just leveraging the Annie here.
Nice hook here from Takimo. But hook is
it's
answered
death.
back. Ult comes down, and that's the burst available to you as Annie. Kulabai picks up that kill, unable to click the Cat Lantern there for Cerberus.
And that was a bit naive, I think, from Takimo and Cerberus, thinking they had it in there when that Annie is level 6 and has stun up. I don't think you're ever surviving that if you go in. And that means the first drag goes towards Division, the first dragon of the series. As Snowline is just, again, trying to get this first plate unlocked. WCD
Nice
maybe
dragon.
caught out.
Oh no, you can't be doing this, WCD. But then again, maybe you can. The support comes through. Who is caught out? The mid laner or the jungler? Or the support even. Hasay dies. Kalago forced to flash away, but still feeling pretty good about picking up that Drake.
And now Spada is running out of mana, but has the biscuit, might have to pop that just to be able to farm the next cannon wave. And as far as Felix is ahead, that CS lead is not noticeable. I was expecting him to be much further ahead. But because Takimo spent so much time in mid lane and in bot river, the Zaya was just able to accept the 1v1 in lane and just hit the creeps and not have to worry about any aggressive trades.
But I think this gets a little bit harder now, Zaya at level 6, right? The Moonlight Vigil is so massive for Aphelios. Especially when you've got that purple gun, can set up for the fights so very well. I think it's a little bit like the Aphelios Jinx matchup. You get windows at level 6, you get windows when you finish a Gale Force, and that's when Aphelios can really show his true power.
Quillabi just coming down to hover in case a gank came out as Division were trying to go in. Flay doesn't do much because that's a level 4 Thresh, but yeah, Quilabi now hitting their base, gets that Sheen in the core fields. Very strong position. And as Wukong ticks over to 6 very soon, I want to see if he can pull off some aggressive plays in the mid lane with that guaranteed setup from Spada.
Something I want to say is, Cadril, I think, brought this up. When you play Jarvan, right, you want to have 2 kills or 2 deaths by 10 minutes. Because if you're not having either of those 2, you're not doing enough on the map. This champion needs to get rolling early, right? Obviously, a little bit more tanky in the late stages of the game, thanks to those W changes, but still really needs to find action early on and just hasn't been able to this game, getting caught once in that jungle river, not able to pick up any objectives either, and I think that's mostly because Hase has been roaming around the map so effectively. The flash, the stun, here it is again, 1 dead Jace.
And that Hex Drinker did nothing there in this matchup. It was quite interesting because Spada went for the Tibbers into the stun, which does infuriate the Tibbers, but gave WCD, I feel like, a bit of time to be able to flash that, but maybe just because of the Cyclone available, didn't feel it was necessary.
I think Tibbers gets enraged when you
For
stun
anyone
with
who
your
stuns.
ults as well. When you stun with your ults as well.
Oh, yeah, but
yeah, so
it brings up more time for Tibbers to hit.
Yeah,
basically.
whatever. You find the stun, you find the play, you got the kill.
Yeah.
Bish, bash, bosh. You do have to flash forwards for it, but it does let you pick up this Herald as well. Now the gold is dead even at the 9-minute points.
And we're seeing, actually, Spada go towards a Rod of Ages instead of a full burst, which is quite interesting to me, actually. I feel like as you're the only AP presence on your team, the Ludens is not a bad pickup here.
Or even the Andres, right? The issue is
sure.
that you've already got you've got Nautilus, you've got an Ornn, you've got Wukong on your team, and the enemy team isn't a pick comp, right? They don't care about blowing you up. So this tankiness, while nice, on top of Tibbers, it's a little bit unnecessary.
Yeah, and are you really rotating your spells enough to make use of the Rod of Ages passive? Now completed, actually. That's a very early mythic. A Cerberus going for an early bot tank.
Oh, they found the engage, they found the flash. Oh, there comes the Moonlight Vigil, and there comes the damage. Cerberus, though, dropped very low, will be picked up by the Featherstorm, but Hyper will trade their life for it. It's another kill and assist onto Felix in the bottom.
That was really nice. With Hate being out of a flash, Cerberus reads that they can get a really good playoff here. And the Cataclysm wall actually blocking the dredge line, which is really funny to see. Yuka still just trading back and forth in the top lane. And now, because the Xayah died, it's a plate city for this Aphelios, catapulting him even further ahead.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting. I wish we could see the gold right now. We can't, but because of production issues. But I would love to see just how much gold Aphelios is ahead of Hype.
He must have Mythic on this back.
High specs at this point, but look at the mid lane. The answer has been found. Hase finds the engage, finds that depth charge. No stun available for Spada. Means this re-engage won't lead to anything at all.
I'm a bit scratching my head on that because Spada wasn't close or even have stunner.
Lion does have that
Hold
ultimate.
it.
Will be keeping themselves alive, but the Brittle proc flashed away. The Ignite taking
Lovely.
down. We talked about Ornn solo kills. There's another one.
Yeah, using the Spellbook Ignite there just to get that extra burst of damage out. What I love when Ornn players hold their Brittle procs like that to maximize CC. I see so many Ornns just jump ahead of time and try and CC KO during our ultimate. Don't, just hold it. It lasts a while. And with that, so much damage comes out. And yeah, that will really set the KO ahead, KO behind even.
I mean, still has the Mythic completed, right, compared to just components this game. Yuka's inventory, right? It's not going to be set too far behind, but it's definitely good to slow down that snowball.
But remember, now that Dragon's spawning, yeah, I was going to... Because H used the depth charge in the mid lane, Quilabi wasn't confident enough to try and go into River, didn't have the support for it, which means it's just a free Dragon over to Bout.
I think Quilabi really needed to take a reset as well. Had to
get
spend their money.
Mythic,
They didn't have their Mythic at the time.
Divine Sunderer.
Didn't want to fight into the Mythic completed Felix Aphelios. He's opted for that Gale Force. Interesting choice. I think it's alright. But I guess you do have a Thresh on your team, and you are going up against 3 people stacking a whole hell of a lot of health. But I don't think it's too bad. Will give you a lot of playmaking potential.
Oh, were you trying to make the argument that Kraken Slayer's better?
Yeah, I think Kraken Slayer is actually totally fine in this instance, right?
So, I've seen a few builds popping up on Aphelios. One of them is taking Overheal and then Shield Bow plus BT.
Shield Bow, Shield Bash as well.
Yes.
I've heard about this.
So, that could have been a viable option, but instead just going for the mobility and the damage into this lane. Which, you know, it's a playstyle choice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's playstyle.
It's hard to say if one's stylistically worse than the other.
Well, it does, as I said, it does give you a lot more playmaking potential in this game, which maybe you need when you've got a Jarvan on your team. You don't have a tank top lane for easy engage. Being able to Gale Force forwards into that Graviton Moonlight Vigil could do a whole hell of a lot in these team fights, but I think it's fine. They're going to be... I mean, you can't be complaining too much either way, because he is going to be picking up his force plates before they fall.
What I can be complaining about is the Hex Drinker.
Yeah.
I don't see the purpose of it. Yes, you survive Spatter's Burst, but you delay your own Eclipse by so much.
Hook connect... No, I don't think it was going to be anything. But yeah, you do delay your Eclipse quite a lot. And Jace is a champion who really relies on hitting their spikes. It's a bit like people who buy Grievous Wounds in lane.
Yeah.
Well, before Orb got changed, right?
Sure.
It's just, you're delaying your spikes. It might not be like a bad option, but they could be spending your money so much better.
I don't know if Yuka wins this. I don't think so. I think
Level
Snowline
11
might just be
moment
able to
here.
run them down.
Walking forwards. Doesn't have the damage. Doesn't want to commit any further just in case jungle is coming up, which they are. They know that Yuka has the flash as well. But yeah, Kayle has reached level 11, has those waves, is significantly more online than before. Kulabi looking for the play, but 2 levels
Yuka's
down.
TP.
Ultimate still available, holding on to that Cyclone. TP comes through as well. Teleport now answered. Doesn't quite pick up the kill. Hopefully a 1-for-1. Divine Sunderer though healing Triumph as well.
Radiant Virtue?
WCD, more like LCD, because you have been taken out. A double kill over to Kulabi.
Oh, wow. And the Radiant Virtue healing